Welcome to PRAJNA SPARKS, a podcast where we listen to a Dharma talk, contemplate with our minds and in our hearts, and engage in guided meditation. In this episode, we explore merit. Please take a moment to like, follow, and review our podcast. This is the best possible offering as it helps us reach new listeners. In the Buddha, his teaching, and the fellowship most excellent, I take my refuge until enlightenment by the merit of generosity and other transcendent virtues. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all that lives. This is the beginning. Having attained omniscience by this merit, may I defeat the enemy wrongdoing and liberate all beings from this ocean of suffering with its surging waves of birth, aging, illness, and death. This is the end. The beginning and the end of every Mahayana practice is marked by the vital energies expressed in these two prayers, refuge and bodhicitta at the start, and aspiration and dedication of merit at the end. In between, the bodhicitta that inspires our practice and that characterizes how we wish to dedicate ourselves continues unbroken throughout the expanse of the practice. You could say that as soon as you finish dedicating the merit for a session of meditation, for example, we could take refuge and generate bodhicitta for the post-meditation period that follows and dedicate the merit when we go to sleep or begin another meditation session, as the case may be. In fact, this would be a beautiful way to practice, a beautiful way to live. Refuge, bodhicitta, and dedication of merit are essential elements of practice in the Mahayana. The common thread is merit. What is merit? The Tibetan word for merit is sonam. I find it very interesting that the Tibetan word for farming or agriculture is also sonam. They're not the same word, they're homonyms, they sound the same. I find a resonance in homonyms that can shed light on each other, such as sonam, merit, and sonam, agriculture. In the case of farming or agriculture, what can we say about that process? It's an organic process. There's many different things that have to come together for our harvest to be plentiful. There's an entire ecosystem of conditions, as a matter of fact, that conspire for our harvest to feed the people, the animals, and so forth. But it's not just those conditions in a material sense. There can be two fields, adjoining fields, same seeds, soil is similar in quality, the weather is the same. Let's say the farmers and the workers are equally skilled and diligent, and yet the harvest is not necessarily identical. They're both likely to be successful harvests if all the favorable conditions are present and the unfavorable conditions are absent. That's how cause and effect works. If we have all the causes and the conditions favoring a result, and we've omitted all of those that disfavor them, there's no way to prevent the result from happening. It will come. Nevertheless, in adjacent fields with near identical conditions, there can still be a difference. Using that example, we can start to connect with this very intangible merit. There are many ways that merit is described. Often it is described as some kind of currency, an economy, whereby lay people provide funds so that teachers can build monasteries or online sanghas or whatever it may be to provide the teachings. There's a give and take. There's certainly a measure of merit that comes from these activities, but it's a disservice to ourselves, to the Dharma, and to the immense potential of merit to limit it in this quantitative way, in this miserly way. Rather than an economy, merit is an ecology. Rather than a currency, merit is a current, a momentum, an energy of positivity, the very aura of positivity that fragrances all goodness of body, speech, and mind. Okay, let's pause for a minute. We're talking about current, an ecology, an aura, a fragrance. These are very intangible things. Not so quantitative as currency or economy or give and take. These are qualitative things that we build in an organic way to both feed the ecosystem and be nourished by it. This is much closer to the qualitative character of merit. More than anything, merit is the effect, that aura that accompanies wholesome intentions. You can give money to a center for a Dharma teaching with the very positive intention of making a connection with the Dharma, with the teacher, supporting the Sangha, and being able to benefit from that merit in your own spiritual path so that you can then benefit others. Or you can give that same amount of money to the same center for the same Dharma teaching because you'll get something back. Can you feel the difference? In the latter case, there is that give and take, a push and pull, a kind of tug of war that's happening over dana, the Sanskrit word for offering, for generosity. English and other European languages share a common Indo-European ancestor with Sanskrit. We can see the same root of dana in the English word donation. But dana is not about this quantitative tug of war, where the teacher holds out for money and the student gives under protest, or because they're going to get something back, or because they have no choice, or maybe even asks to attend for free and never thinks to make an offering of service or prayer or gratitude. This is a very flat, dualistic, limited approach to engaging in a relationship. It creates a tit-for-tat kind of relationship, a me and you kind of dichotomy. By contrast, merit envisions a fluid, multidimensional space where, to use that same example, perhaps the student has the wish to make a very large offering to a Dharma center. The intention is to support all of those activities and to fuel their own practice so that they can also benefit others. Immediately, by making the teachings and Dharma Center available, but also more broadly as their practice comes to fruition and allows them to benefit beings in more vast and intangible ways. Can you feel the fluidity of that movement? It's not just back and forth. There are waves of generosity splashing all over everyone. Merit bubbles up in this kind of circumstance where the intentions are as good as possible, as untainted by the idea of self and other, of gain and loss, pleasure and pain, fame and shame, praise, or blame. Tricky thing about merit, when we still have a dualistic mind, even when we do something very meritorious like make this offering, or possibly do some prostrations, or sit in meditation, or whatever the case may be, that sparkle, that fragrance, that aura, starts to dissipate. Because it's hard, isn't it, for our dualistic mind to leap through that window of opportunity that sacred creativity provides, to neither be mired in dualism nor pretend to a non-duality that we have not yet come to manifest. That window of opportunity that sacred creativity gives is what allows us to feed the ecosystem of merit and be nourished by it. But that same dualistic mind will very quickly turn. Oh, I wish I hadn't spent all that money. I forgot I had to pay my insurance bill. Well, if I'd known that I could have made it to the farmer's market on time, I wouldn't have spent so much time doing prostrations this morning. Or whatever it may be. We quickly fall into the tyranny of the tit-for-tat existence of mundane mindset. That window of opportunity that sacred creativity opens for us doesn't stay open for very long at first. It takes practice. It takes merit. Merit is that momentum that positivity generates and feeds from. There isn't a dualistic sense of am I getting or am I giving? Quite to the contrary. Best way to lose merit is to hold on to it, try to secure it, tie it down. Best way to ensure that you will be able to tap that bottomless well of merit is to share it, give it with an open heart, no strings attached. So rather than consider the merit that comes from all the positive things we do. Meditation, yes. Prostration, yes. Attending teachings and listening, contemplating, and meditating, yes. But also gardening, feeding our pets, loving our family, working so we can support ourselves and others, enjoying the sunset or the sunrise. All those senses of positivity are a window of opportunity, a call for your sacred creativity to connect with positivity, goodness, openness, and be held in that, hold others in that, refuse to hoard it. Allow the movement of that instead of expecting it as an allowance. This groundswell of positivity becomes a wave, a current that feeds us with confidence. The more we're able to tap that ecology of merit, the more it fuels us. And because we're operating in a space of non-dual wisdom, manifesting a sacred creativity, that fuel itself is the conveyance. That conveyance is the fuel, is the momentum, the thrust forward. That power of the wave rising out of the ocean is what allows us to surf those waves to liberation and omniscience, right within the suffering of the surging waves of birth, aging, illness, and death, instead of plummeting to the depths, wallowing in the ocean of samsara. Here are some seeds for your contemplation over the coming week. Feel free to ask us any questions via email, Instagram, or Facebook. Links are in the episode notes. If you wonder why your practice isn't producing an abundant harvest, if things slip through your fingers and you're not sure how to keep that close to mind, consider merit. How much are you preserving the ecology of merit? How much are you drawing on it? How much are you allowing it to inspire you, to carry you, to move away the friction that encumbers us all from time to time? These are beautiful questions to ask in the coming week as you explore merit in your everyday life. This is an especially poignant topic for today, the full moon of the Buddhist holiday of Vesak, which in some Buddhist countries is the time to honor the birth, enlightenment, and parinirvana of Shakyamuni Buddha. It is said that on momentous days such as this, the merit generated from goodness is multiplied manyfold out of the synchronicity with the life of the Buddha Shakyamuni. Be sure to join us again on the quarter moon as we answer your questions about merit. Stay tuned now for a guided meditation with Lama Zopa. Shivnee is our Tibetan singing bowl artist. Before you take the time to like, follow, share, and review PRAJNA SPARKS, please set the positive intention of generating merit through that action and dedicate that merit when you're done. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. If you have any questions, contact us via email, Instagram, or Facebook. Check the episode notes for those links and for more resources on today's topic. Visit us on the web at prajnafire.com or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at PRAJNA SPARKS. Thank you for listening. May all beings benefit.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the meditation. To start with, let's just let ourselves arrive in this moment. Pay attention to our posture, the energy flowing through our bodies. Beneath us, the embrace of the air and the environment around us. Just allow yourselves to really come into this moment, to be present with all of the gloriousness that is here with you, embodied in you and by you right now. Just take a moment to feel into that. Before we get to the meditative inquiry for today, we'll just begin with some shamatha, tranquility meditation. If it feels right, we can take the breath as our focal object for our tranquility meditation. Or if that's not feeling good to you or not feeling right for you in this moment, there are plenty of other focal objects that we can take as the support for our tranquility meditation, where we're just using the focal object of the breath or an imagined sphere of small, brilliant white light in the center of our heart, or a rock or a pebble placed in front of us that we rest our gaze on, or anything else really. We're just using whatever focal object we choose as an anchor for our awareness, so that we know anytime we get distracted by agitation, when our thoughts carry us away, or we get a little sleepy, a little dull, unclear, we're just continually using the meditation object to fine-tune our awareness, to really become clear and present, yet still. Let's just practice like this for a couple of minutes, using the meditation object to fine-tune our awareness. And any time we catch ourselves being distracted or getting sleepy or whatever it may be, we don't judge it, we don't feel bad about it. We just let it go and gently bring our attention back to that fine-tuning of awareness. So let's practice like that. Now we can turn our attention to merit, the reflection point for our meditative inquiry. Really looking at merit as part of this subtle ecosystem of existence that we find ourselves in, part of this organic process of building up through the path, this momentum that carries us forward as we traverse the path. One of the great things about merit is that it allows us to relax a little bit into ease. We don't have to figure out realization, liberation, enlightenment. These are not dependent on us intellectually figuring out the answer to them and then striving to get there. Which is not to say that developing correct understanding is not an important aspect of our path. It certainly is. But especially in today's life and times, it can give us a sense of relief, of ease, to know that we don't have to strive so hard to intellectually figure it out and make ourselves get there, that we can relax into trusting the practices and the path to lead us step by step to the realization and full experience of the abiding nature of our minds, the genuine happiness that we are constantly yearning for. So how do we get there? The Buddha answered this pretty succinctly by saying that we gather the accumulations of merit and wisdom. So merit is this momentum that carries us forward. The power of positive causes yielding positive, supportive results for ourselves and others. And those results inspire us to more and more positivity, deeper insight, removing the obscurations further and further. This kind of relationship with merit also supports us when we are feeling lost or overwhelmed. We start to see that we don't have to figure the solution out or lift ourselves up by our bootstraps. We can just turn to small, manageable intentions and acts of Dharma, wishing to benefit others, offering a flower to the Buddha, meditating for a few minutes, reciting a stanza from a prayer. All of these and so much more, all of them kindle the momentum of merit in our mind stream. Let's take a couple of minutes in meditative inquiry to examine just how we relate to merit. What is our view of it? Are we approaching it as something that we have to earn and hoard, or as a way of being there for us to engage with and uplift ourselves and others, or something else? Just allow yourself to inquire as to your own view of merit, your own relationship with it. What does it feel like for you? Is it clear what it is? And anytime we get an aha moment, or in this case, especially sometimes we can get the sense of joy. We can do this. It's in our grasp. There's always something that we can do that's meritorious. How amazing. Anytime we get to something like that, then we stop thinking and we just rest. We stop analyzing and we rest one-pointedly in the experience of that. Or if we have doubts or we feel fuzzy or unclear, this too is a wonderful result of meditation. It points us back to investigating the Dharma further for ourselves, clarifying our understanding. So let's just delve into our own experience, our own approach to merit, our relationship with it, and see what we find. Thank you so much for your practice and for all that you do. So now let's take this merit that we've accumulated, generated, this momentum of goodness, and share it freely with all beings, ourselves, of course, included among them, so that we and all beings may be free, may find the joy, the delight, the genuine happiness that is our true nature and that we all yearn to get back to. Thank you.